pleasure of the president. Is that correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
Does that removal usually come with the smear campaign of that ambassador by the president?
I think the right of the president to make a decision about the president's personal representative as confirmed by the Senate is separate from whatever happens outside the confines of U.S. government processes.
Do you have any idea why it was important to discredit Ambassador Yovanovitch, what she was not willing to do or to do, why that was important?
Well, I guess it probably depends on the motivation of other people, and I am not one of them.
The committee's investigation has uncovered a web of shadow diplomacy engaged in and executed by several State Department officials and the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani. And
let's make sure and vote these damn dumbass Democrats out of office.
This shady shadow operation, shadow diplomacy.
And if you want to debate, leave a comment.
Taylor, you have described what you encountered as the top diplomat on the ground in Ukraine as a, and I quote, highly irregular, informal channel of U.S. policymaking. You testified that the channel included Ambassador Volker Sondland, Secretary.
Can she pour any more oil on that hair?
The president's
My Lord.
personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Both of you have explained that you grew seriously concerned when you realized that
Bunch
the
of damn
interest
goons.
this irregular channel diverged from official U.S. policy and interests. Was Mr. Giuliani promoting U.S. national interests or policy in Ukraine, Ambassador?
I don't think so, ma'am.
Mr. Kent?
No, he was not.
What interests do you believe he was promoting, Mr. Kent?
I believe he was looking to dig up political dirt against a potential rival in the next election cycle.
Ambassador Taylor? What interests do you believe he was promoting?
I agree with Mr. Kent.
The State Department's role is to promote U.S. policies overseas, not to help the current president win re-election. Is that correct, Mr. Kent?
All federal
I thought you said John Giuliani had it done.
Policy and
Not President Trump.
Politics.
Hello.
Ambassador Taylor?
I agree.
What is the risk of running a separate channel of diplomacy that is completely outside of normal channels and does not further U.S. policy goals, Ambassador Taylor?
It's possible to do one, but not the other. That is, if it's...
And they won't bring the whistleblower, so Shifty Shift won't even talk about him. Every time somebody mentions him, he cuts them off and recuses them. Bunch of bullshit. Spending our damn tax dollars on this bullshit
and approaching those goals.
when they can go to the homeless
Agree.
and the veterans.
You have described in your previous testimony one instance shortly after you arrived.
These fucking idiots don't understand that.
Asked State Department officials not to listen to
They don't care. They want everybody homeless.
President Zelensky. Did you find that unusual?
I did.
What was the impact of Ambassador Sondland making that request?
Even my dog agrees.
And you found it unusual. What do you believe the impact was?
Ms. Evans, I'm not sure there was an immediate impact.
Was there a recording or transcription?
There was not. That was the impact. It was not recorded.
Do you think that's why the request was made, so there would not be normal State Department employees from the Operations Center would have been there transcribing and taking notes?
That is the norm, but it is also possible. It is not unusual to not have it recorded.
So you know that the State Department is holding your notes and refuses to provide them to Congress despite a duly authorized subpoena. And we know that in some instances your notes may be the only documentary record of what happened. You are aware of that, correct? And Mr. Kent, you are aware that your notes have not been turned over to Congress.
I have turned all records that I had in my possession to the State Department because whatever we do is considered a federal record, not a personal record.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Mr. Chairman, I have a request.
Gentleman will state his request.
I have a New York Times op-ed stating why President Obama should have done more investing in Ukraine by a trio of ambassadors, which includes William Taylor.
Without objection,
December
that will be admitted into the record. Mr. Krishnamurthy.
Good afternoon,
See?
gentlemen.
He's a
I'd like
fucking
to walk
idiot.
you through a couple points raised by my colleagues on the other side. One is they claim that the July 25th call
I tell you what,
shows
it's
no
damn
evidence
sure,
of pressure
one
on
thing about watching these dumbass
the
Democrats, I damn sure know I could win office if I run.
with any of President Trump's requests for investigations. In fact, Ambassador Taylor, at your deposition in October, you stated that due to the hold that President Trump placed on aid to the Ukraine, the Ukrainians became quote unquote desperate. Isn't that right?
In August, they did.
Sorry about shaking this. My dog just jumped up my lap.
But at the end of August, the article came out. In September, the Minister of Defense, for example, came to me. I would use the word desperate to figure out why the assistance was being held. He thought that perhaps if he went to Washington to talk to you, to talk to the Secretary of Defense, to talk to the President, he would be able to find out and reassure, provide whatever answer was necessary to have that assistance released.
In fact, my colleagues on the other side suggest that President Zelensky personally did not feel any pressure at any time, and yet later on in September, he finally relented in a conversation with Gordon Sondland, according to your deposition, in which he agreed to make a statement on CNN. Isn't that right?
CNN, see it. Clinton News Network.
My colleagues also say that the hold on U.S. security assistance was lifted on September 11th without any investigations happening on the part of the Ukrainians, and therefore everything ended up fine in the end. However, Mr. Kent, as you know, the House Intelligence, Foreign Affairs, and Oversight Committees began this current investigation leading to proceedings today on September 9th. In
Proceedings,
fact,
my
it
ass.
was 2 days after this particular committees began their investigations that the Trump administration eventually released the military aid, correct? That is a timeline, yes. Mr. Ambassador Taylor, between the time of your October deposition and now, did anyone from the Trump administration contact you about your appearance before the committee today?
No, sir.
How about you, Mr. Kent? No, sir. Ambassador Taylor, I would like to turn to a word that by my count you used 13 times in your opening statement, and that word is concern. You were concerned that aid was being conditioned on political investigations, isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
You were concerned that irregular channels of diplomacy were being used in our foreign policy in the Ukraine, right?
Yes, sir.
I can't listen to that idiot anymore. Sorry, guys.
These